Have you ever stood in front of your router at home and asked yourself, where does this internet actually come from? Who sends it? And is there one single country that controls the entire internet? If you thought the internet came from the US or from one main source, prepare to rethink everything you thought you knew. The internet isn't just a cable connected from country to country. It's an enormous system, way more complex than most people imagine. Before we dive deep into the story, let me tell you, what you learn today will completely change the way you view the internet. Just a heads up, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you get all our new videos as soon as they drop. Most viewers watch our videos without hitting the like button. Please support us by liking and sharing this video. When you ask most people, where do you get your internet from? You'll hear the same phrase repeated, from the company I have a contract with, and they'll confidently add, the company sends the signal from their place to the router in my house. Okay, but if that company sends the internet to you, who sends it to the company itself? Some people will quickly answer, from the country's main source. That's because many people assume the internet comes from one single country that holds all the control. In fact, some people even imagine there's a switch somewhere that, if pressed, would make the internet disappear from the whole world. That idea is very widespread, and maybe you even believed it yourself at one point. But the truth is completely different. The internet is not an entity owned by one country, nor is there one central hub in the world controlling everything. The internet is a colossal network of places, companies, and countries. Every one of them is a piece of the system. No single entity sends the signal to everyone. Every party helps the others to keep the network running. So, in short, the internet isn't a river flowing from a single source. It's an open ocean where everyone contributes. If the network gets cut in one place, the network finds another route. And that's what makes the internet different from any other system in the world. If we go back in time a bit, we'll discover that the internet story started a very long time ago. In the 1950s, right in the heart of America, there was a very simple idea. How do we connect multiple devices so they can exchange information? At the time, the US wanted a system that could still work even if a war broke out. Meaning, if one means of communication was destroyed, the network would stay active through another path. And so, the US Department of Defense founded an advanced research agency. This agency was called ARPA. Their main goal was clear, to build an experimental network connecting computers together. And after a huge effort in 1969, they achieved the first step of that dream. They connected a computer at the University of California, Los Angeles, to another computer at the Stanford Research Institute. The message sent between them was very simple. But it was the moment a new era was born. That small network was named ARPANET, and it was the first network in what we can call the beginning of the internet. At the time, no one could have imagined that this small military project would evolve over the years into the largest communication network ever known to humans. But the most important thing of all is that from day one, the network was not owned by one single party. The two connected entities were partners. Neither one was the source and the other the receiver. And that was the foundation of the entire idea. A shared network where everyone is a player. The moment the first two devices connected, an important question appeared without anyone saying it out loud. Whose network is this? Does it belong to the first university, or the second institute, or the government that funded the project? If you think about it logically, you'll find there's no single answer. The university needs the institute to receive and send, and the institute needs the university for the same reason. They are interconnected, and both are the source at the same time. From here, we can understand something crucial. The internet does not have one source that controls it. There is no center that sends the signal to the world, nor a specific country holding the key. The internet is an interconnected network. Every point in it feeds the others. Every device, every cable, every server contributes to the system's continuity. This idea is what made the internet different from any other system. If its source were a single location, it would be easy to cut or shut down. But because it's a network of thousands, and sometimes millions, of points, it keeps going even if one part fails. And that's the secret to its strength and the secret to its survival for decades without collapsing. So when you say, the internet is coming to me from the source, you're actually talking about a massive network where every party plays a role, and the router in your home is just a small station along that long path. Imagine a gigantic map with countless lines running between continents and countries. These lines aren't just drawings. They are the internet cables that connect the continents of the world. The internet is a giant network that ties the whole world together. There isn't one country that controls it, but every country is a point in the network. Most of the connection between countries happens through massive submarine cables that cross under the oceans and seas, traveling thousands of kilometers in silence. Some countries use satellites as another means of connection, but submarine cables are the backbone for running the internet worldwide. These cables aren't just wires. They are arteries carrying all the data we send and receive every second. They run through deserts, under mountains, and dive into the depths of the ocean. Finally, they reach massive servers that speak a unified language so devices can understand each other. And in this way, a seamless exchange of information happens between any two places on the planet. And when the main cable enters a country's borders, it branches out internally. Large internet companies receive these branches and distribute them across different regions. From there, the internet starts getting distributed to homes and businesses until it reaches the router in your house. So simply put, you're not receiving from one place. You are connected to an entire world. If a line is cut in one location, the network loops around and goes through another route. And that's why the internet stays functional even in difficult circumstances. The secret isn't where it comes from. The secret is how it's connected. Many people have a firm belief that the internet is tied to a single location, as if there's a big center in the world that feeds the entire network. And they imagine that if the center is shut down, the internet will stop everywhere. But the reality is completely different. If any country or entity leaves the system, the network will continue just fine. The internet is built on the idea of distribution, not control from a single point. If one part of the network breaks down, the data looks for another path to reach its destination. You can imagine it like a large road network. If one street is closed, cars take a detour. The same idea happens on a global level. If a specific line fails, the network reroutes the signals through other paths. Meaning, if a person in one country communicates with a person in another country, the connection doesn't pass through a specific center. It travels through a flexible, open network that adapts to any situation. If a station in the middle goes down, the network continues without it. And this is one of the reasons the internet has survived wars, natural disasters, and massive outages without collapsing. People think that if a big platform or website stops working, the internet is down. But what really happened is that a small part of daily usage disappeared, not the entire network. The internet is much bigger than any website, company, or platform. And this means no single entity can control it or cut it off from the rest of the world. So, if a large platform leaves the network tomorrow, millions of devices will remain connected. Millions of websites will still work, and conversations will keep going. And data will continue to transfer between people everywhere. The only thing that will change is that you won't be able to access the platforms you always open. But the internet won't shut down. The internet isn't just cables under the sea or servers in towers. The internet is a massive, interconnected system with millions of nodes and devices working together. So, if a small group of devices leaves the network, the rest keeps going as usual. And this proves that the internet's power isn't in its location, but in its spread. You can picture it like a massive beehive. Every bee has its small role, and if one bee disappears, the hive keeps working. There are also thousands of data centers spread around the world. Each center contributes to storing and transferring data. So, if one of these centers goes out of service, the network instantly distributes the load to other centers. The whole process happens in fractions of a second, without the average user even noticing anything. The beautiful thing is that this technology isn't just built for speed. It's built for resilience, meaning even in the worst circumstances, the internet stays working. And this actually happens in many cases, like earthquakes, floods, or even massive cyber attacks. People are surprised that the websites they use are back up quickly. But the truth is, the network itself never stopped. If you imagined for a moment that one entity tried to control the entire internet, they wouldn't succeed. Because simply put, the internet is made up of endless doors, distributed everywhere. And that's what allows it to adapt to any change. People will continue to connect, information will continue to transfer, and websites built on independent servers will keep working normally. And there's another thing that makes the network stronger. Every day, the number of devices joining it increases. From mobile phones and computers to smart home devices. Every new device becomes a small node that strengthens the network even more. In the end, the internet is not a device in one place that you can disconnect from the world with a push of a button. The internet is a huge network, composed of millions of devices, cables, and servers. Every point feeds the next, and that's what allows it to keep going without being owned by anyone. If one part of the network goes down, the rest stays operational. And if a big country leaves the network, the world will continue as normal. Because the internet is not tied to a place. It's tied to itself. The famous platforms we use every day are only a small part of the picture. The internet is much wider and bigger than Facebook, YouTube, or any other platform. Finally, when you look at the router in your home, remember that you are not connected to one line. You are connected to the entire world. A network of millions of devices working in harmony without being owned by any single entity. And with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Share your opinion in the comments. What was your favorite part of today's topic? And if you have any strange topics or historical secrets you want us to cover, write them in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, check out our old videos. You'll find lots of topics you'll enjoy. And don't forget to support us with a like and a share this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.